What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the live stream. I'm a little less prepared today. We're definitely going to do sesh work. I don't have some big looming project in front of me, so we're going to hang out. Hopefully we'll talk Tmux and Vim and all those fun things like usual. And maybe I'll talk a little bit about career and stuff. Might be fun. And we'll hack away at a couple of issues that I see in front of me. So how are you guys? Feel free to put a little music on in the background. What's up, Andres? So I got my board. We've been doing icon support. I feel like that's kind of where I need it to be right now. If we want more done with it and people have more feedback, I'm welcome to revisit that or do more work on it. What's going on? Welcome, welcome. Boom. Let's call it done. So from what I can tell, and something we can break down in this live stream today is people are wanting to name their projects other things other than the way sesh names them, which I get. That's totally valid. I don't do it that way, and so I didn't design it for that in particular. And so the question now is, do we want to keep doing it that way? So let's see. Folder I work in uses an arbitrary directory name rather than the project name. It would be useful for me to be able to set a function which is called, right? Pass the full path name as a param, and the result would be the session name. Yeah, maybe. This is one way of doing it. The other way is, let's see, I've got two things here. So this is totally valid. Check this out. So if I were to do, let's just create a session on the root directory. So if I were to just sesh create from root, it creates one called Josh Radesky. Great. But if I create a tmux new -s and I give this a totally different name like random, right? We'll do this detached. There's going to be this thing called random. But when I go to try, actually, we can do like this. What is it? I always get this one wrong. S. So if I'm in here and I try to go to sesh, it works. If I try to go to random, it's going to resolve to the Josh Radesky session. And that's because I'm doing session lookup based off of the path of the session. So if someone wanted to have multiple sessions open where the root directory was the same, it gets a little funky, including if we were to close this. So let's go to sesh. Let's just say that Josh Radesky session doesn't exist. If we choose random, it's going to use the home directory and it's going to create a new session. Not great. I can see why people might not like this behavior. So I guess we can fix that today. It shouldn't take long, but I might have to rework some items here. So let's connect via session name. The other thing we have to work out, and which I have a decent idea on, is people can't have spaces in the session name right now. It sort of breaks sesh. Like sesh just blows up if you have spaces. I intentionally have the sessions named in a way where there's no spaces. But if, again, you're using a tool outside of sesh, or if you do like the good old iCloud, I don't think iCloud's in my Zoxide, but there are folders that will have spaces in it, right? It's inevitable. It'll happen. I think the real answer can't be well, then don't use sesh. Like, that's never going to be a good answer, I would think. So we need to fix those two things. I think we can do both in one sweep here. So let's see, connect. I'm just going to rename this. I think we're going to call this connect improvements. And the dogs are playing in the background, in case you're wondering. I swear that they only decide to play on stream. So this should be fun. Yeah, you don't mind having spaces? I don't do spaces in my sessions, but it can happen, right? Sometimes projects are formatted in a certain way where people can't avoid the space in the folder name. So why don't we work out a way to appeal to that crowd? So we have the connect logic, and let's just kind of review what it does. We determine the session. The session determination starts with the path. And from what I remember, there's a specific part here which we say is session. And if it is a session, then we return the session path because we're determining the path. And so from what I can tell, I don't want to determine the path anymore, but I can determine the session name. That's sort of like drop one piece, add another. Your dogs always bark when you're on call? Yeah. When you're on a call, yeah, that makes sense. That checks out. I think dogs like messing with us. You like messing with me? I got two, so they like to play with each other, which I don't mind. That's not a bad thing. All right, so let's just start with this. Let's just say like, hey, I'm not going to care if this is a path, right? And then on the name, we can get the name from path. I guess the thing I need to clarify is on our sesh connect. Why I'm not go all the way back? Connect. In here, do I make sure that it is a session by name? Yeah, so we already do this. So I'm wondering if just removing that path logic is enough. Let's find out. So let's brew uninstall sesh link sesh go build sesh. Maybe one day I'll still set up that project we talked about where it auto builds, but should be fine. So now that one connects. Returning exit code. All right, so then we're already off to the races. So if I was to random sesh connect random, we can't add random. Oh, the determine logic is gonna crap out here. So if that's the choice, we're good. Otherwise, get the full path or look up the other path or look at the result. When will this ever not return something? So we've got the full path. Yeah, there's going to be something here that doesn't play nice. So I can't just turn it off. It's not enough. So this is going to query. Print. My brain has to switch to that. All right, so that one's going to work, but sesh connect random. Failed to add random to Zoxide. We're not trying to add anything. We're trying to create, let's just create another session then. Tmux new -s random. So that would come back nil. If it equals not nil, then it's the path. And then what is full path? Oh. Random is the full path. So I need to not have a full path. Why would this be anything? If it's not a path, it shouldn't resolve. And if it doesn't resolve, this is a string or error. If it never determines the path, then we shouldn't be setting it, right? I'm gonna guess that this path is just random, like literally random. Yeah. So it can't be anything. It needs to be nil. And if it's nil, that means no path was determined, which should be all right, because we'll then attempt to connect to the session name. Oh, I see. Yeah, so the way that all this was rewritten, I assumed the path would be fine, and clearly it's not. The session name will be random. Got it. So we just flipped these. This is the fun part about being new to all of this Go stuff. It's also weird logic. Like, I hope you guys appreciate me putting in the effort of like, the logic is really strange and complicated because it's not really a straightforward project. All of this sort of determining what is what in what order gets really hairy. And most of you are repeat. You guys have been here a lot, and I appreciate all those that come back and hang out with me more. This is tricky stuff. So I guess the determine logic needs to shift slightly. Right. What project is straightforward? That is a very fair point. There are not a lot of straightforward projects. You know what is straightforward? My nerd font icon project. This one is straightforward. It's not a excuse me. It's not a whole lot of logic, but this one is much simpler and easier than it has some dependencies, of course. But this one is much easier than as it goes to Tmux plugins I develop. Right. The exception that confirms the rule. You're right. So I guess when I go to determine the path needs to be coming from the potential name of the session. So what we were doing here is we're determining if it's a session, then we return the path. The path that comes out of this needs to be the path. It shouldn't be random. It should be the name of the session path. So if this is a session, we match up with random, we should get true. It should return the path as a secondary option. Is this going to be right? can I So my question now is random going to give me the right path? It does. Okay. So the path is right. In the case of determining the path, I gave it the session name, and the session name said, yeah, this session has this path. Great. And then we say, determine the name based off the path. Okay, so this is the problem. This isn't going to work. We can't determine the name from the path. We need to use random. Random is the thing, so we need to use it. So when I go to determine name, there's a lot of logic in here. Name from path. Part of me thinks I might just say, like, if the choice that I provide. Actually, give me a moment. I'm going to plug into Ethernet, and that might help things. Okay, we're plugged in. I got a gaming PC. That's exciting. And so that gaming PC, I'm currently working through getting more Ethernet into this side of the house. I have some Ethernet problems at home. Okay, so we're getting the path we want every time. It's the right path. It's what we need. The name, however, changes slightly. The name is the result, and the result is the name from path. Name from path does a lot, but I don't need to determine any of this if it's a session that already exists. So the question now is, where do I want to put that logic? So it's one of those, like, if choice is session name, then use it. I guess determining the name comes from a choice and a path. Choice and path. I don't remember why I did any of this. The valid path is just a replace. And the name from path is all my more complex logic. I think I'll do it from here. If is session, but I think all this says is if the name matches. Got it. So I only overwrite the name if that's the idea, right? That's all we really need to deal with. I can do this, right? So if that's it, I think that's it. We determine the name. So we're going to provide the choice. The choice was the thing given to us, and the path. So we got choice and path. Nope, that is not where it goes. Let's go back to connect. Determine. Yes. So determine is going to determine from the choice and the path. And we're just slightly modifying the logic. So that should work, right? Session path, there's the path. Random, okay. So random doesn't work. Yeah, it keeps doing the same thing. All right. Sesh connect random. Interesting. All right, so the same, it's the same. It's what was happening before. So we're getting the path. Session name. Yeah, sure. So determining the session name, it's one of those things then that session.name is what it's going to connect to. On the connection, I ask if it is a session matched on the path. Name, is that enough? Well, and so it's a trade-off. I don't know who uses sesh here. There's a few of us here today. Thanks for being here. If you use sesh, would you want the name of the session to match when you go to, I guess when you go to select a session, we're using the name of the session to make the connection. Using FCF, these are the names of the sessions. So that feels like it's still appropriate to make that connection. So let's build sesh. Sesh connect random. So this is where I get really confused and have a hard time making sure the logic is sound, is that this is creating sesh/random as an entry, but it's not. It is definitely not. So it's somehow taking random and deciding that it's its own thing. Like it thinks it's like a relative directory inside of sesh. But it gets session path. Okay, so this part, session path random, is not right. That's what's causing the failure. Session name is correct. So is it on my connect logic? I would have thought this would come out as true. So is session never runs. So we're not getting to connect. It is attempting to add, and session path is bad. You guys hear that? It's all right. It's all right. Okay, so it is trying to add a path that isn't a path. So let's just print session path. I bet you this is what's coming back as random. Oh, well, it works now because I got rid of this, yeah. So path is random, that's just not it. We could check that. So Andres, you're saying we could check if the session is a session before we get to that part. But session path should be valid. And for some reason, it's returning just /random, which is just flat out wrong. The path should still work. This is the part that I'm not sure why it's not working. So when we determine path, it must think that like if is session and there's a session path, why would it return? Because is session IC, this became name. Crap. We just broke our own logic by swapping that. If it is a session, then it returns the name of the session. Why did I do it this way? I guess what we're going to have to do is when we go to determine the path, we want to return the name. So can I return a third thing here? Or can I just return a session? What are these? Tmux sessions, right? I think I'm just going to return a Tmux session here. Tmux session, right? It won't return or I think is session was misleading and not helpful. I want to do like a find session. And if find session like find session, it will return that if it is there. And if it's not there, like that. Let's see. I know this is invalid. Do I do the like, maybe it's a session? I don't want to return an error. No, I don't need an error if the session isn't found. I guess I'm always going to have to return, yeah. It's one of those things that like, we'll return this. Right. I guess I could do a pointer. It's not, Andres, maybe you can tell me if a pointer here is going to be return a flag. What do you mean by a flag? What would that look like? Or give me a little bit more context. Is this session going to be a Tmux session? Yeah. But the Boolean would be what? The Boolean, well, I don't mind bubbling this error up if listing sessions fails, because it can fail. There are moments where formatting, and there's pieces of logic here that are worth probably bubbling up, but wondering if it is just going to know scope to the iteration. So I have to assign it and then return it. Why do I have to do that? Yeah, I mean, Andres, that's the idea, is I wanted to just check and see if not nil. That feels like it would be enough to just say, hey, if not nil, I have a session and I can use it. And if no session's found, then it's just going to return nil. So I just have to do GoLang the right way. So it is a pointer. You can't forward a pointer, or it already is a pointer. Ugh, of course it is. That's what the double asterisk was. That's what I thought. All right, so you can't add this because it already is a pointer. All right, got it. Got it. Yeah, so I'm fine with this. Everywhere we did is, Emacs is session changes now. We're going to find session. And then if error is not nil, then we're going to print. How do we do this? There's a few places where I want to return here. Okay. String or error, yes. Couldn't determine the path for that, yes. Oh, fine. So that's our first piece, and then our next piece is going to be session. So if session is not equal to nil, that means we can determine the path. That should be it. If error is not nil, then do it that. And if session is not nil, then do that. Otherwise, we're going to ignore everything by not returning, by continuing to the querying. Okay, that's right. Oh, did I get it? Oh, it worked. Hey, it worked. It's working. It's working. Look at that. It's working. All right, cool. So that means that's it. All right, so we do have an invalid operation because of our other is session on connect. So if session equals nil, then that means we don't have a session because we couldn't find one. When we go to determine the name, we're going to find the session. And if the session is not nil, that means we found it. And if that's the case, then we return this name that was found. Ah, sweet. I don't know about this thing. This thing feels weird. The name is always the choice. No, let's not do that. We return the name because we have it. And then if we get the name from path, we might not get a name from path either. Otherwise, we'll return choice. Something like that. Are we done with all our is sessions? I think we are. All right, no more build errors, yay. Now if we connect to random, we get Josh. Of course we do. Is there a session name called that? Oh, there is. All right, we're back to where we started, aren't we? The session name is definitely not Josh Medeski because that session doesn't exist. I'm guessing it has to do with one of the determine logics, probably the determine name. We found the session, so we should be able to determine the name based off of what we found. What's up, Jersey? It's going good, man. We're just doing some quality of life stuff on sesh, trying to add some edge cases, let some other people's workflows play better with this tooling. So that's been fun. Sort of keeping track of letting the dogs out here. They're being nice and antsy this evening. It's okay, but we're doing good. I think we're getting close. Yeah, Jersey, we're done. It's doing everything it used to do, and it's been pretty good for a while now. But it's been like a month or two, maybe a month and a half that like it's been my total replacement. I have not been using the old T script anymore. So feel free to give it a switch. So something about the session. That wasn't spelt right. Determined. All right. I'm going to just fix that. There we go. So when we connect to random, we get our first invalid memory address or nil pointer. What is it? That would have pointed to it, right? Interesting. So it gets random. Hey. All right, here we go. The dogs can get out. All right, go. Go. Okay, I've got a little bit more peace now. I can focus. All right, Andres. So this was a pointer. We forward this pointer on a return statement, and then the return statement was like, nah, invalid memory address. So what's that about? What do I want to do? Terminal, yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry, Jersey, that won't work. I don't have any custom Twitch commands. This is Westterm. You think it's a different crash? Okay. So we have a session. Guess we'll look for everywhere that we reference it. Oh, if I'm trying to determine something that can't be determined. If we can't find it, that happens. If it's attached, your thing, switch session by name, attach by name, yes. All this seems fine. Let's see if like sesh connect dot. Oh, that's going to be itself. Okay, so that one works. So it's specifically when the random one was chosen, we get a totally different error. See, the name of the session is random, and then when we print the session name by determining it, it's being determined as a totally different session. No, that is wrong. So we find the session. This must have come out as nil. See, determined session name never ran. I am on a studio display for asking Jersey. I just upgraded recently. Does it look good? Because it looks amazing here in person. It looks good, great on your end. I'm happy to hear that. All right, so this session, not nil, is not happening. It should definitely find this session by the path. Okay, so that's what changed. Based off of choice and path. This is what we didn't change this piece. We need to find the session based off of the choice. I mean, maybe. See if I can type. Maybe that was it. I need to find a better way to improve the flow, because that is definitely something that's been tough. It's like the code flow is something that we need to make better. Some people have tried to like refactor my code, and I had to revert something like that a few weeks ago, because I was like, man, you can't refactor this and totally change its behavior, because then I won't know what's going on. Because this is just a weird, super conditional if this kind of logic. But Jersey, you can ask as many questions as you want, man. That's why we're here. Why don't I have a status line? what's in the status line? Let's just think about what would be there that's useful. Okay, normal mode, insert, or normal mode, visual mode, insert mode, I don't know, regex mode, not regex mode. Am I running a macro? Like these kinds of things pop up. Okay, great. But I've been using I've been using Vim for so long, none of that really matters. I don't care if I'm in visual mode or not. When I hit the V character, I know I'm in visual mode. I don't need some sort of place to bounce my eyes around to find out. UTF-8 doesn't really matter to me. The position of the cursor, that doesn't matter to me. In fact, if we were to compare all of those things, like none of those things matter to me. What does matter to me is git diffs and LSP info and the name of the file I'm currently on. And so I'm using a totally different plugin. I could go and look it up and tell you what it's called, but basically it just tells me what file I'm in. And these 3 pieces of information are all I need to stay focused. Everything down here never really serves me. You could let me know, like, there's this thing in the status bar line that I've got to have. Like, this is the thing I got to have in my status bar line. Yeah, great. Like, tell me what it is, because I want to know. But none of that has mattered. Like, none of that has mattered. Prints something useful? I don't know, maybe. But give me an example. Like, be concrete with me. Like, what would I print that's useful? To be fair, I am sort of an extreme minimalist when it comes to the terminal layout. I mean, look at this. There's nothing here. Let me get rid of your comment. Hide comment. Nothing. There's nothing here, like, at all. There's nothing on my TMX status bar on this side. Like, there's a whole set of sections where you could put the date or the time or the name of your computer or like all of those things. I don't do that either. But this is like years of me going, oh, I don't really need that, and I get rid of it. And then like 6 months later, I go, oh, I don't really need that either, and I get rid of it. And then 4 or 5 years later, wherever we're at right now with this journey of like terminal full time, is just me slowly getting rid of things I don't need. So please don't think that this was like overnight, that I was like, okay, I'm going to remove every single item that seems unnecessary. No one's mentioned it yet, but there's no line numbers, and that has thrown people off recently. There's also no indentation symbols. Some people like the fancy indentation line thing, and I just don't have those. Like, there are no invisible characters, there are no line numbers. Yeah, I've sort of gone extreme as I can. I'm thinking of making some sort of distro where people can like start off from this and work their way toward what they want. That would be fun and exciting. Dude, I can't get used to relative numbers anymore. But maybe it's because of the way I jump around. I don't measure things mentally and go, okay, I need how many lines up? 5 lines up? Okay, 5. Okay, I went up 5 lines. I don't do that. I use the angle brackets a lot. Angle brackets will jump between empty lines. If I'm here and I want to get to the function, I'll do bracket F, and that will take me up to the top of the function. If I want to go to like this P in path and my cursor's up here, I'm going to do, what is it? Leap is the one I use. So I can hit F and then the character I want, like M, and it will search for every M preceding every line, and then I can match using a special character that shows up. So in this case, U will take me directly here. So I might actually make a video on this or talk about it, but like after using Vim motions for like 10 years, give or take, I don't measure much, meaning, okay, I need this many lines to get to this place, or I need to hit I need to guess how many words away my cursor is from where I'm at. I just don't want to put in that mental effort anymore. I want to just, oh, I know exactly what I want, boom, go to it with as little thought as possible. You like Sneak better. I know there's more out there. I'm willing to try others, but for right now, Leap works fine for me. So I'm like, fine, I'll just do that. You know, it works. If it was what I want to do is I want to go to definition on anything that I can see on the screen. And I haven't figured that out yet. But like, instead of go to definition over my cursor, I want to be like, oh, there's find session down here. I'm going to go to definition, find session. But I don't want to have to take my cursor to that place and then go to definition. I see what I want. I just want to go there. And so I don't know if I have to make a plugin or if it extend a plugin or something. But like, if you're used to the browser, Vimium's a really popular choice. If you hit F like lets you see all of the things that are in front of you. And if you choose like SF pulls up that link, right? And so I kind of want that, but like a go to definition. So maybe in the future we could play around with another NeoVim plugin, because I've done a little bit of that on stream. But Andres makes a good point. I mean, Jersey, I know you're on a different platform. Do what makes sense to you. And honestly, that's been kind of the weird thing about building Sesh is like, there are people that do session management a certain way, but it's not the way that I do it in Sesh. So when they go to use it, they're like, hey, I have to submit a ticket and I have to talk about like, why does this not do what I think it's going to do? It's like, well, you're doing it differently than I am. Like, you're not making your sessions your directories, or you're not allowing Sesh to create your sessions. You're making sessions some other way. And I don't recommend that. I recommend you always create your sessions and manage your sessions and load your sessions and switch your sessions with Sesh if you're going to be a Sesh user. Like, that's just the most straightforward way to do it. Very little mental effort. You don't have to come up with names for your sessions. You don't have to type out anything. You just give it what you want, and Sesh will give you your session back. And that's sort of the simplicity of it. But I recognize that simplicity doesn't equal, you know, customizability and like the way in which other people want to work. Like, it's totally valid. And so that's what we're doing today, is we're sort of playing around with this idea that like, okay, maybe you want to do it a different way. That's okay. Let's let Sesh handle that. I feel like we're close. So let's try to, I can talk about this stuff all day. Let's try to see random. I think that might have been enough. So the name is random and the path is the path. Because what happens is every time I connect, even if I reconnect to a session that I'm already on, I update Zoxide results so that it gets smarter and smarter every time you use Sesh, not just the times in which you choose a new project. And so in order to do that, we always have to know what the path is to this session directly. So that's kind of why we did it. But let's go through this. Okay, so I do need on the connect to add this back. So does that change anything about that file? No. All right, so the name of the session is determined. We determine it based off of the choice and the path. The choice, because I always provide the path ahead of time, right? At least for now, the code flow works that way. And so the name comes from path. If we can't find the session, and then we make sure to always convert it. And then if nothing falls through, if everything falls through, the choice becomes the name. That's the thing I'll have to play around with. Maybe that's not perfect. We'll find out later, won't we? All right, and then this logic changes where we say find session. So if there's an error, we say there's an error, and if it's not nil, then we use the path. Yes. I think we have enough time today that we'll be able to fix the second piece that I talked about at the beginning. Yeah, Jersey, I've ditched it, man. You can do it. Like, if you realize that like I needed the status bar line and that thing that was down there was super important, and I'm like, I can't get past not having that information in front of me, to Andres' point, then keep the status bar. Like that's fine. My status bar has only been gone like less than a year. So just think about the fact that like you can like simplify the status bar first, go in baby steps. Like at one point I was like, all right, I don't need what mode I'm in. That doesn't matter. Like I'm a good Vimmer. I know what I'm doing. I don't need to know what mode I'm in. It's not a big deal. UTF-8, don't need that. Okay, so you can go into like the dot files, Lualign. I've enabled it false, but you could do what I did before that. And you could say, okay, Lualign A, nothing. Lualign B, nothing. Lualign C, different diagnostics. Lualign X, Y, and Z, nothing. And if you do this with an empty table, it's just not going to render. Like you're on your way to simplifying. So maybe that'll help. If you want, this is the diff. But this whole printed error thing in the status bar line, I don't think I've ever really had that workflow. Maybe you're describing something I'm just not familiar with. All right, let's go back to sesh. All right, so now all these prints need to go away. All right, we're almost there. All right, so let's make sure that we are still good. We'll build, we'll go to random, and we go to random. Oh, but I'm still getting these. Why am I getting these? Oh, that might be why. Name. Let's get rid of that. There we go. And then random. Okay, so I'm still getting s.name. Oh, rogue. He got away from me. Find session we run multiple times, so that makes sense. Sweet, no more printing errors. Let's see, go test. Trest, that is a word I've never used. All right. Nice. So what are we going to say? We're going to find session. We are going to adjust the naming, and so that we get, so we're going to fix determining session by name. So one, we switch is session to find session and return no if not found. All right, give it to me, Jersey. Tell me what it is on your mind. I bet you have a reasonable use of the status bar. So let's hear it. All right, so then we're going to say determine name logic now returns the name, the session name if it exists. And then what was sort of the third thing we were doing? I guess that's it. That's the change. All right, so let's push this just in case. I don't think I'm going to get an image. I think I use a streaming platform that probably doesn't accept URLs. So you could DM me on Twitter, I guess. You could totally DM me on Twitter because we're Twitter friends, and I will look at what you're talking about. I promise. I'm just keeping things safer on my end using my streaming platform because we're on LinkedIn, we're on Twitch, we're on Twitter, X, we're on YouTube. We're streaming everywhere. Okay, so wait, hold on. I think that's it. Like, I think, can I get a little party going on? Yes, yes, look at that. It's so much fun. All right, so we're done. I think that I'm pretty settled on that. I do think we can support spaces. We can totally support spaces. All right, you're sending me something. But this, I think, is the last. Okay. We'll let everybody see what's going on here. This is not the status bar itself. This is your command history, right? When things happen, there are events that are triggered. I would highly recommend something called noise. Noise. Can I get back to reality? Back to reality. All right. Noise. Noise. GitHub NeoVim noise plugin. So this thing puts your notifications up here. So I like this one because you don't deal with the status bar. It's like status history. It's like a status mode. There's a lot of terminology around this, but like when you echo something, boom, it shows up here. Did you ask me about noise? I probably missed it. But yes, noise is great. Where notifications are printed. Yeah, you told me about notifications. Huh. Well, there you go. I do use noise, and I'm making sense of what you're saying now. Of like, oh, when NeoVim gives me a message, it usually shows up at the bottom. Yeah. Even if I got rid of my status bar and I didn't have noise installed, then something probably would flash at the bottom of my editor. But it wouldn't have been the status bar. It would have just been, you know, NeoVim reacting on the status line. Status line and status bar are sort of the differentiation here. Interesting. Yeah, I like talking about this stuff, so feel free to ask more questions. All right, so what we're saying is custom session names. Okay. Updated sesh. Can I to properly get the tmux session name if it exists and use that instead. All right, so we're gonna, that one's cut. I'm not gonna put that there. I'm gonna probably just close it. But let's do, let's just go ahead and do this. All right, fix closes number 77. All right, sweet. We are on the same page and we have a issue that we can check off and call done. So I'll let this run. We're gonna ship a couple of features here today, hopefully. Cool. So I think we can do this. Andres, if you're still here, I might use your advice again. But really what we're at now is like, if there's a space in the session, this is gonna freak out. This is not gonna work well. So, oh, you're still here, sweet. to my knowledge, let's just go ahead and I like booting all my NeoVim completely when I get to that place. All right. It might just be as simple as when we parse the tmux list, we list sessions, we trim spaces. Yeah, we do some basic interpolations here, and then we process the sessions. All right, so this is it. This is all that we're doing. I'm gonna guess that if I move name of session to the end, that we might be able to get away with see how we like name shows up way down here. If we make this last, this is going to be 17. Wait, hold on. No. 17, 18, 19, and 20. So I'm going to move it to the end. The way that this works is that we were splitting by space. And so I basically need to say, like, give me field 20 and any other fields that happen to be after 19. That's the idea. We lost a few people, so I guess the people are leaving. But I'm glad you guys are still here. So in Go, what would that look like? That's the question. So basically, grab field 20 and anything, any other after 20. I mean, we can start by asking I have field split by space if my last field 20 could potentially have space. I don't know how to phrase it, basically. In Jersey right now, Zoxide is the only implementation for this feature, so we'd have to write a whole different plugin system, which I kind of have in place, but the short answer is you have to use Zoxide for now. But I don't know what Rupa, what is this Rupa/C? I don't know what that is. Unless you meant to say, oh, it's a shell-based thing. Just switch to Zoxide. Zoxide is Rust-based. Right? Rust? Yeah, it's Rust-based. So just join the dark side. Plus, it has slightly more stars. Yeah, I don't know the difference between these, but that's interesting. There's another one. I guess it's shell-based. So he's got not that many lines of shell. That's not bad. How does he make it? Huh. That's cool. If you are a homebrew guy and you do brew install sesh, it will automatically install tmux and Zoxide because they're homebrew dependencies. But depending on what OS you use, it should just be a one-liner like give me Zoxide. Zoxide should have all sorts of, look at this, Linux, boom, here's a million ways to download it through Linux. Mac OS, a million ways. So the Oxide guy, he's got so many opportunities for you to do it. I don't know if Rupa's like a predecessor or something, but perhaps. I used to use ASDF. What's it called, ASDF? What was mine called? Or did they like change the project? Maybe it was ASDF. I don't know, but I used to use something before Zoxide because Zoxide hasn't always been around, right? I've been around longer than that project. So yeah, kind of interesting. All right, so let's figure out how I can name this. Given I split fields up by spaces, how would I grab every field from 20 and on, even if I don't know how many fields there total? I guess I could count and then do a little bit of math and say, okay, there's this many in total, so let's like subtract this and then add that. I think something like that may work. Oh, I can do that? That's cool. Look at that. You do know things. I knew you would. I knew you would know what's up. Grab 20 and any other fields after 20. That's exactly what I want. Look at that. If this is all that it takes, then we're golden. Cannot use. Okay, so how would I merge back into a string? I'm guessing there's a join command I can call. Okay. So we're just going to join everything back. Again, this is probably like a 5-minute ticket. Let's hope that it works, but build, it works. Random, nerd font. Okay, so now instead of random, we can rename session random thing that should still work. Oh. Okay, all right, that doesn't work. Let's try again. Tmux new random. All right, so we got a random thing that should still work. Oh. We didn't get that session. Does it exist? Yeah, random thing that should still work. Okay, so now we're not getting that session. Interesting. Yes, okay, so it isn't coming back. So what I could do is I could print this. Oh, sesh list t. What is this? It listed session tmux. It did not find it at all. So you're saying Do I have to assign it to something separate? So do I have to do this in its own step? Oh, you're right. Yeah, you're right. If it's not 21 fields, crap. I forgot that Sweet. I can't remember why I was saying if the field isn't 21. I think I'm all right with that. Right. All right. Okay. No, they shouldn't be new lines. It should be one line. And that is because FCF, why is that? Is it going to happen here? When I list them, it's the frickin' icon support. Ugh. I think this icon thing has become such a headache. Let's switch to sesh connect dot files. These stupid icons, man, I can't do it. FCF was not made to have friggin' things with spaces in them. Like, it just like freaks out. We were listing with JSON, and then we were merging them with this. Okay, back to the basics. At least 21? Okay, that's fair. You can't enter the bar unless, I'm just kidding, is less than or equal to, is less than 21. Okay. Yeah. So I think we're going to go back to the basics here, like I was saying. I think that this needs to be this. No matter how badly I want it, it just seems to be not the best idea. Dot files, tmux, then my binding for this script. Where's my binding? And now I need to be able to select. We've already tried this. All right. I need connect to be wrapped in a space, which we tried this one a time in the past. I don't want connect to be. No special settings for Zoxide. I think everything's just defaulted. There we go. All right. Random thing should still work. All right. We can add spaces now. Do I have any directories with spaces in them? I guess I can just downloads maker thing with spaces. All right. So now if I want to ZAD, this is my little thing that adds items, and then things with spaces. Things with spaces, things with spaces. Parsing spaces. Invalid syntax. Tmax list. Ambiguous command. Excuse me? Oh. Sesh list. Parsing spaces. Invalid syntax. What? What? What is this? I've never seen this before. It's a brand new error. Crazy. Converting a string to an integer? Wait a minute. The error message specifically indicates that the function tried to convert the string spaces to an integer, but not possible because spaces does not present a valid integer. Is this one of those things that, like, the whole 21 fields was just right? Is like a sweet spot? That's my guess. Thing with spaces, one window, fifth Tmax. Yeah. So which one? Space. I'm gonna guess that one of the fields, it's gotta be, one of the fields sometimes isn't there. And when it's not there, it's just not there. So who's to say which one it is? There's no way to say if it's not there, then we're just going to ignore that thing because we're splitting a string by spaces. All right, let's do it. Let's find out what it is. So okay, so it should write this for me. Hopefully it's precise. Yeah, it looks fairly precise. All right. All right, it's about to get small. It's about to get small. Yeah, so we got two spaces there. We've got thing with spaces 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ah, if this has way less, then spaces just becomes the thing that's missing. But I thought that we got a space for every item that wasn't there, it got replaced with a space, is what I thought. for every item that returns false. Well, because I moved name, there probably were fields after it. Yeah, this is probably sufficient. It's a weird thing, but like it's conditional. I don't know if this is going to slow everything down. I'm not going to be a fan. All right, so let's record. And we said, I don't know if I trust this CMux list. Ah, what was that? Oh no, I did something recursive. My bad. Bad. Well, let's do 15. All right, macros for the win. That's my idea. Is it a great idea? No. Do I think it's going to work? Yes. Oh, interesting. Now it returns nothing. Was that enough? I don't even know if this works. Might have made more sense to run this first. Okay, so it just doesn't return anything. Not a fan of that. All right, so can I like session stack? I guess if I can identify which one it was, then I can do that partially. I have a suspicion I don't need all of this. I think it's a little silly that I end up having all of this. So what if we, since it's been on my mind, oh, cannot connect to sesh. Why is it failing? Oh, because it can't determine it because all this logic is bad. Sorry. Okay. I'm getting ahead of myself here. And I need a little bit of music. Nice and quiet. All right, there we go. All right. So what would come back as undefined? Had the thing not been attached to yet? So I know the session attached, session last attached won't happen if it's never been attached. So I could get lucky and just guess from my my deep Tmux knowledge, right? we're gonna look at all the knowledge I have on Tmux and try to get this to work. All right, cool. So I still need to Tmux thing with spaces. What do you mean? So you're saying the variable string shouldn't, you move the session name to be the last one? I don't know. I'm not sure what you mean. So unable to connect to Tmux session. That is so helpful. Thank you so much. Thank you for telling me something. It just exits with the status code. This has to work with, sesh. So that doesn't work. It can't work. The question is why? It must be, I think we're going to go ahead and move forward with this. So what of these am I using? Windows name. Oh, did I revert all my work? Crap. I reverted all my work, you guys. Time to ask the undo gods to be in my favor. Crap. I screwed up earlier when I wanted to reset this. I needed to reset just this hunk. I screwed up my macro. Yeah, I do. I use undo tree. If there's less, that won't work then. I can't do this either. It's one of those things that I just need to allow it all the time, I guess. All right, there we go. Let's try again. All right. And then one of these, it hasn't been attached before. So I'm going to be able to do that. We're going to so simplify this. Windows, created, seems helpful. Session format? What is session format? What? Attaches a date. All right. This is what we're going to do. These fields are always going to be there. There's always a created at date or a created date. There's always an ID. There's always a name. There's always a path. There's always windows, because you can't have windowless sessions. So that means, what do we keep? Created, ID, name, let's put name last, path and windows, path, windows, created, ID name, path, windows. I've been meaning to do this. Last attached undefined. I was sorting by last attached, which is why I kept that. But that could be one field that I say, hey, that's okay that I have or don't have that one. Attached. Attached, created. All right, we'll leave attached. And then we'll do this thing. And we'll see how well that works. And then attached needs to get put back. Attached. Last attached. And that's the first guy. This is where having a work tree could be useful. That's all right. This works for me. List. So last attached. Last attached. Okay, created. Do we do fields by 1? No, by 0. Last attached shows up differently, right? Last attached. Created, ID, path. Oh, it doesn't matter. All right. Created, ID, path, attached. Number of windows. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What is this? the session last attached. What do we say? We used attached. What is the difference between attached and last attached? Oh yeah, you like it? Boom! Boom! This one I generated, actually. This is a custom AI image I made, so that's fun. You gotta watch my video, man. I have a whole video on WebSterm and custom fonts and windows or images, and it's fun. I removed, did I? Tmux. I thought I added it back. Last attached. Well, attached. It was trying to assign attached. Oh, I do need attached. Okay, I do need attached because attached tells me if it's currently attached. That one's important. I have to make sure that one's included. All right, so we will go back to Tmux lists. We have attached. Tells me how many times it's been attached. 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 It shows up 0 if it hasn't been attached, which is good. Attached, 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 attached. Could be more. You're fine. I get this warning, but I've been told I can work around it. There's like a last attached. That was straight up wrong. So that's good. We get that working. Because I do like sorting from last attached. I think that is nice to have your list show up that way. All right, so that means attached. Attached is 0. Create is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a little clunky. I'll give you guys that. This is a little clunky having to manually track IDs and stuff, but I think it's going to be for the better. With. All right, so now it's clearly still hide attached. If fields 0. All right, so it's clearly still print one, 2, 3, 4. We're getting an extra space here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Last attached, which is what we'd expect to not show up if we don't have it. And then Windows, and then the name of the thing. So this last attached isn't working the way that we hoped it would. So this syntax, I don't think is valid. Zero, 1. I feel like ID isn't something we use. Path has spaces. This is one of those things that I'm like, the more that I thought this would be a 5-minute fix, but clearly path and name are both going to have spaces in it. So this idea of like string interpolation or whatever. God, this sucks. The path is going to have a space in it. And the name of the session may potentially have a space in it. So do I have the capacity to try to fix this in 20 minutes? Because I don't want to work much longer after that. What do you think? Anyone have any good suggestions on how I would handle more than one of these things? My thought is that I do a list and I get the ID, and then I'd have to run the command more than once though. I'd get the IDs and then I'd get the path, and I would grab everything after the ID, and that would be the path. And then I would do it again. So I'd be running tmux list multiple times so that I could grab path with spaces. I could grab the name of the session, like these items that are complicated and not necessarily going to show up in its particular order every time. The only other thing I was wondering, I don't know if it's possible, is can I separate these commands with something that's not a space that wouldn't conflict with people's sessions names? That's sort of the tricky part here, is like, if you want underscores, then we got to support that. Like there's got to be a special character, because then I'm not splitting by spaces anymore. Then I'm splitting by something else. This whole string split would be something else, because when I do this part, we wouldn't join on spaces, we would join on something else. If I wanted to split tmux, wanted to separate semicolon. I mean, maybe, as long as people don't use semicolons. That's what I mean. Like, that's a great idea, though. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. Because then we can be like, we can wave our finger and be like, why the hell are you putting semicolons in your session names, right? Ooh, they're suggesting a pipe or a double colon. Do we like pipe or double colon more? Or triple colon? I mean, the idea now is just like, we could do something else. I think that's my only way to sanity here. I think I'm going to go crazy. And I could revert all of this, completely revert all of it, and just say, okay, triple pipes or double colons or something. I kind of like double colon. Semicolon could work. Semicolon could work as well. So that's as join. So we're going to do like separator. Did I do it right? My brain hurts. Separator. And then separator. Well, let's just go ahead and just say I'm going to undo a lot of what I was doing. Because for the sake of simplicity, I want to rename that. I think that's what we're going to have to do. So this can all sort of stay the same. But now I'll have a separator. Oh. What are we thinking? Okay, Andres, thanks for coming in, man. I'm going to be done here soon, but I appreciate you. You're always very helpful in these live streams. Jersey, you got any questions for me? Separator. Are you kidding me? It feels like the simplest. Do you ever? Okay, tell me all the things. Dude, okay. Are you kidding me though? All of this hard work and I was overthinking spaces. I was totally overthinking it. Fix. Allow spaces in path. Spaces and all right, Fanor, thanks for coming, man. Just hanging out, huh, Jersey? I think this will work, and I'm a little bit annoyed that it took me this long to figure out, honestly. Do I need to line these up just right in my nude colored sweater? That's hilarious. No, I know what you're saying. Oh my gosh. Who says I don't have sweater colored skin? No, that's not true. Improve session logic. Oh no, do my tests fail? Ah, I bet a test fails. All right, so let's go test. So one of these guys probably expected the sessions. Yeah, okay, fine. This sucks. No, why do I always get this to screw up? All right. So we will do better. Let's substitute every space with double colons and do that everywhere. This isn't the most efficient, but I can't screw this up, can I? Sometimes slow and steady wins the race, am I right? I'm using a moon lander, yeah. It's gonna be a little bit louder with my, I'm having problems with my mic. So we are on monitor mics today. Hopefully it sounds good. It's a studio display microphones. They're not gonna be nearly as nice as my fancy mic, but my fancy mic is giving me problems. Test. Sweet. These are silver switches. They're silver speed switches. So I bought them in a different board, and I did a little transplant, and I brought these switches in. So they have an incredibly small actuation. It's like 45 grams or something. I think reds are like 55. So they're even lighter than reds. They're linear. Let's see, feature fix unit tests. Include features. All right, that should do it. And I'll probably just ship this today. I mean, we're kind of getting to the end of the hour. What board are you rocking right now, Jersey? That is if you're not just chilling on the TV like I do sometimes when I watch streamers. If anyone else is still here, I see numbers in the stream. Please feel free to say hi. As we sort of wrap things up today, I have a Discord server, so if you're not there, join us. We like to talk about Go and command lines and terminals and NeoVim and all these sort of fun, nerdy topics that I cover on the YouTube channel. I'm here every Thursday night, so if you haven't been here before or you're not sure, at least in the US, I'm here every week, usually working for a couple hours. So would love to have you come back and hang out more. And yeah, let's get these tests passing so that I can ship this. I don't know why. Oh, I got a failure. Error not equal. Expected. Did I miss? I think I missed something up here. I want this. I don't love this. Okay. Nope. Why is that happening? Why is this even here? Does it do the whole line? I wanted to be able to select something and run this on the selection. Ugh. Is that enough? Why did that happen? That is very weirdly inconsistent. All right, so there's our reformatted thing. I think I looked at one and said the one worked, but really I needed everything to work. Okay. Fix unit test separator. What are we looking at? Okay, we're mirrored. This is an ErgoDoc Easy. So this is one of ZSA's previous keyboards. And you're probably asking, do I want a Voyager? Yeah, I would totally get a Voyager. Okay, I think we're actually kind of getting there now. So this is something I worked on. This is something I worked on. These are under review. I kind of got ahead of myself here. Yeah, see, it already worked. Let's see Mac OS. Sweet. All right, we're just going to ship it. So we're going to say improve session logic. We're going to switch. We're going to use the separator. Nice. So we will pull out main. We will tag this guy. What are we doing? We're tagging it. Tagging it. 14. Cool. So that should be good. We've got our things with spaces. So I will go ahead and show you guys what I'm doing. It's working. Hi, welcome. It looks like some people are coming in as well. I'm about to finish the stream, but if you want to see me deploy and ship this features today, we're going to do a little manual test here together to make sure that it's working. For those that are curious, I have a GitHub action. On main, it just says, hey, you know, make sure that it works, like test the thing, make sure it's good on main. When we tag, we're going to say, okay, make sure that it works, test it like we do every time. Then we do build and publish. And so it uses Go releaser. And this I actually need to fix. I need my workflows to be checkout version 4. And then setup Go. By the way, check this out. I use Arc. It's a browser. And I can say GitHub action. And I can hit Shift Enter. And it will go look on the internet for me on my behalf, find the thing, and return it to me. So check this out. It worked perfectly. Pretty slick. I'm guessing that version 5. So we're going to check out 4. We're going to go release 5. And basically all of these things, is Go releaser going to be this way? Version 5. We're still on 5. Okay. So this is just a quick 4 and 5, 4 and 5, sure. Update actions to support node 20. And I don't even need, I'm not really worried about releasing this, although I could. Let's go back to sesh, Look at that, it worked. All right, so we're going to remove homebrew bin. We're going to brew install sesh. And you'll see here, Jersey, that when we install, it's going to, let's see, we're on 13, so we do sesh-v. Let's remove users that. So we're on 13, right? I'm pretty sure that's what we just published. And I'm going to go ahead and get ahead of myself here. And we're going to say, we're going to edit this. Session. You can now fix one issue. What do I want to say? Oh, Akira, what's going on? Hey, good question. Good timing too. We're about done here. The new plugin is written in Go. It is faster. It will have more features as time goes by. There is a raycast feature. This raycast feature is very cool. So if you use macOS, raycast, this works with sesh. So you can switch sessions, create new sessions on the fly from anywhere if you set up a global hotkey. So that's fun. It's more extensible, but the core concepts are the same. If that makes sense. Now support spaces in path names or session names. To update your tmux to wrap the connect command arguments in quotes. Let's just go ahead and give them that. This was a weird, tricky one. I'm glad people have called it out, and I'm glad to have gotten it fixed. These should have automatically been marked as done because they're done. I fixed. Connect to sesh custom session names. Download. Wait, not, was that right? No, 14, yeah. BC, all right. All right, so there, we're letting them know. And then, hey, AJ. Both path, session paths, and session names. Download sesh and let me know if you have any issues. Sweet. So now people know about it. But yeah, Kira, I think you'll like it. The setup's slightly different. I'm happy to talk about it for a few minutes. We got a logo. How about that? You can brew install if you're a homebrew person. You can use Go. We have some other package managers that I think are coming soon, so look out for that. There's a Raycast extension that I showed off. And so basically, you just need this, sesh connect. And if you want to list all potential results, you can say sesh list, and that's it. The plugin manager had like a custom fuzzy script. So the change is now I'm sort of putting that in the user's hands for you to control and for you to customize the way that you want. And so you'll go into your tmux config file and you can add your own binding. You can do what it was before. I think it was capital T. And so now this command is mostly what it was doing before. So now you can do a fuzzy pop-up. You can size it if you want. This is the sizing I use. You can add a border, you can add a header, and then I have these custom bindings. So like Control A lists all, Control T lists tmux sessions, Control X lists Zoxide, and then Control F is just a custom FD command, which again, you can do a find command or whatever. And so that's what this is. So, okay, here are my tmux, here's Zoxide, here's my find command, here's all. And you just like you did before, you pick the thing you want and it creates it. Ooh, that was weird. That one's going to be tricky. I may have to revisit this. Yeah, so that one doesn't want to work. Fun. We just tested it. I don't know why it's not working, but we'll see. If people run into it, I can revisit it and try to make it better. Bummer. But big fan of this. I have just a super simple script that when tmux isn't running, you can do sesh connect and then sesh list FCF, right? And then you can pick your thing and then it connects. So you can set up aliases, shortcuts, abbreviations, like whatever makes you productive. I am annoyed at that though, so we will have to figure out. All right. Well, that is it. Thank you guys for coming. This was fun. Always like working on sesh, making it better for you guys. If you want to contribute, feel free to explore the GitHub issues. There's a discussion section. So if you just want to talk about some features that you think would be cool for sesh, feel free to start a discussion or contribute there. What's up, Ian? Hi, bye. Ian's here, but we're done. I worked for just over a couple hours. We made some fixes. We're making sesh better a little every day. So yeah, thanks for being here, everybody. Yeah, you can watch me at 2x speed if you want, if you can understand me at 2x, because I'm a fast talker. But we had a good time. So thanks for being here. Join the Discord server if you're not there already. I hope to talk to you guys more. Send me a DM on Twitter or X or wherever you can find me. Happy to talk about this stuff more. Until next time, see you next week.